welcome to Shift the Narrative, where we take the essence of everything we are facing and shift it. I am your host and fellow freedom fighter, Tyria. For those who are joining us for the first time, welcome. Please subscribe, click favorite, share, and review. Right now, you are listening to Fridays with Ty on Shift the Narrative podcast. Let's join the conversation. Okay.
No, it's not you. It's I'm talking to my grandson because
Oh.
he's sitting here. So I have him there, and then I have this little person here.
Oh,
He's
she had the baby.
so she's right here in my face.
Oh
So
my goodness. Look at that face. How old is she?
she will be 2 months on the 17th.
Oh my goodness. Look how
Yes, yes,
alert
yes.
that baby
That's
is.
what these pandemic babies,
I
they something
know.
different.
Aren't they?
She
I
lifts her
know.
head up. She
Yeah.
be sitting up like wide alert, cracking up laughing. I'm like, it's something different. I was like,
Yeah.
God, I said, you said we could be wiser.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the, you know what it is? It's the stress that the parents were put under, the mom was
Yeah.
put under during the pandemic, the fear, you know what I mean? And all that other stuff that goes with it, that built them. That
Yes.
made them strong inside that womb. You know what I mean? Made them know that, okay, we got to come out and we got to come out running.
Very,
Yeah,
very
we got to
true.
come out running. We can't, we feel that. So we got to come out running. Oh,
Yes.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Baby
Grandbaby
step.
number 13.
Jeez. That's a
Number
lot.
13. That's a lot. That's a
Yeah,
lot.
that's a
That's a
lot. That's
lot.
a whole army.
Yes, 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 it is. I said, okay,
Yes.
God, you did something for me. I was one child to produce five children, and for my five children, I
Mm,
got 13. So I said, okay, your
mm-mm.
math truly is not our math.
Right, right, right. Hey, he knew what you needed. He knew you needed being the only child. I couldn't imagine because I'm not. But
Uh,
just when you hear certain people talk about it, it's different than when you have siblings versus being the
yes,
only child. Really is because it's
it's a
all
it's a
on you.
different type of battle too.
Yes, it is a different type of battle. Yeah, it's
It's a
all on
different type
you.
of battle that
Yeah.
people don't understand, especially when you come from a place of being an only child, and unfortunately, as that only child, you were the brunt of
Hmm.
all the pain and the woes and the sorrows of the
Hmm.
parent
Hmm.
and the things they dealt with in their life or they didn't deal with in their life. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it was like I didn't have, when I got lashed out at, I didn't have anybody where I can get comfort from another sibling. But
Right.
at the same time, I was thankful I didn't have any other siblings that I had to protect.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Because
Right.
me being the oldest, I would have been a protector.
That's
That's
right.
because that's just in my nature. I
Hmm.
would have been that nurturer to them. I would have been that mom to them. But at
Hmm.
the same time, I would have took even more lashes
Hmm.
so they wouldn't have to.
Hmm.
So, it's like, at the same time, God already knew there was going to be some type of abuse. So he didn't just make it more than what it was. Because if I had siblings, I would have took on my, the abuse that was
For
was
them.
meant for me, presented to me, but also I would have took theirs too, so they wouldn't have to know what that felt like.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
that makes sense, you know what I'm
No, no, that makes perfect sense. And I
saying?
get it. And I get it. I mean, as the oldest, I can speak as the oldest. I took a lot of, I was the first one. So, there's no book on parenting. So
Yeah.
whatever happened, happens. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
I took that.
Yes.
And yes, I am the protector. I am the mom of my younger brother and two sisters. Yes, I will
Right.
listen. You know what I mean?
That's
I
your
love them
baby.
to the core.
Yes.
Right,
That's
right,
right.
to the
They
core.
your they're your siblings, but they're also in a way they're like your babies.
Right,
Like those your first. That's the
right.
first time when you are. I learned being an older sibling, watching older siblings.
Hmm.
That's the first time you're presented with parenting skills,
That's
and you
right.
don't even know nothing about it when
Don't
you
know
because you're
nothing
still a kid
about it.
yourself.
Yep.
You're a kid looking to be parented, but you're
Yep.
parenting others.
Right, right,
you
right,
know
right.
so it's hard when you come from a place where when your parents have been through so much in themselves that they haven't dealt with their own battles and struggles and
Yeah.
spiritual situations, or they don't even have understanding of it. So it's like you trying to figure this thing out, you know what I mean? But at the same time, how horrific it can be.
Hmm.
So you be like, you know what, I'd rather take that because I'm used to it and you're not.
Right, right, right. Or I can handle it better than you
Yes,
can. So now I can
yes,
help you
yes,
navigate it when you feel it just a little bit, but
yes,
that little bit that you feel is big to you. You know what I
yes,
mean? I mean, I'm the oldest, so I'm thankful I'm the oldest. I'm thankful for what I went through, um, because it built me. You know what I mean?
Yes.
In the moment, no, of course you're not thankful. You don't understand it. You don't understand that there's something that you need to learn from it. But I'm thankful for the lessons I learned from being the oldest and taking the most and seeing the most or
Yes.
feeling the most. You know what I
Yes.
mean? When I wasn't aware of what I was seeing. Um, but now I can be there for my brothers and sisters, in a way that causes understanding,
Yes.
understanding because my mom hasn't changed. She's still who she is. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
She's evolved.
Yes.
She's grown, you know what I mean? And
Mhm.
softened and more beautiful because of the fact that she recognizes I have faults and it's okay to express my faults and not to put on a facade of everything is great.
Mhm.
And that's the beauty of it. That's what now getting my younger brother and sisters to see is different because they saw a different side of mom than I saw. They saw a different side of dad than I saw. So everybody's story is different, but it is a different battle being the only child. It's a different battle being the oldest child.
Yeah. And I listen to my kids sometimes when they talk, and they sit there and be like, oh, they say to my youngest two daughters, and they'll be like, well, you didn't see that part. You didn't know, you didn't have to deal with that part. Me, my three oldest ones went through a different part of life that my other ones didn't go through,
Mhm.
and it's like, a battle, like, and it was hard. Like one day, me and my daughter was talking and we was sharing things, and then she was talking about her childhood with me.
Mhm.
And she was saying like she knew when certain songs came on, she knew if it was going to be a good day in the house or a bad day in the house from different music being played.
Mhm.
And then, she was talking about like, my ex-husband, he used to have different lights in the house. Like some days he would have a red light, a blue light, a green light. She knew what those lights represented. And when it came to certain smells. And I'm just like, so it does something, because like when she hear the songs now, she thinks about it. We talk about it. And and I said to her, I said, I am so sorry.
Mhm.
And she was like, what are you sorry for? I said, I created trauma in your life.
Mhm.
I said, I didn't know. I said, because those certain songs trigger something in you, and you knew when it was a good or a bad day. You knew something. I said, so it did something to you. So my thing was, some days you heard a certain song and you walked around your own house with eggshells because your parents were going at it. Or
Mhm.
you knew that, oh, we have to have a good day in this household because they're playing this type of music. And I'm just like, I'm so sorry. Like, I was like, I wish I could erase those memories so you could just enjoy the song for what it really was and
Mhm.
appreciate the music,
Mhm.
not associated to good and bad days. I said, that's a trauma that I presented in your life.
Mhm.
And for that, I apologize. And she was like, she just looked at me like, wow, you apologize? I said, yes, because I didn't know any better. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, because I was going through traumatic experiences, I didn't recognize that the trauma that I was going through, what I was
Mhm.
dealing with, or the situations I
Mhm.
was dealing with, sprinkled down and trickled down to your life, to your children. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I said, so for that, I'm sorry for that trauma that I created in your life. And I said, if you feel that way, I know your sisters got to feel the same way and remember those same things. And I
Mhm.
said, that's so sad, and I was all teary eyed. She said, Ma, it's okay. I was like, I said, it's not okay. I said, because my thing is, a lot of times we don't know how to deal with these traumas. And a lot of times we carry those things over into our life. And then we have these battles in our life. We don't know why we're battling the things that we're battling, but it's from things that was presented and presented in your life when you was a child from your own parents. But because I was dealing with my own trauma and I didn't know how to deal with it,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? I
Mhm.
poured it on my kids. And so then my kids didn't deal with their traumas. So, it's a continuation. You know how they say things are passed down to you from generation to
Mhm.
generation?
Mhm.
We call it generational curses, but sometimes we're like, oh, we do this because that's just a ritual. That's what we always did. We always
Right.
get together.
Right.
So it's from generation to generation. So you know what? What happened was trauma that was passed down to me, I passed it down to my kids,
Mhm.
generation to generation. So that's why it's very important to learn how to deal with those spiritual battles, to
Mhm.
learn how to deal with those traumas, to learn how to be healed from that stuff and not sweep it under the rug. That's why it's so important to communicate in your family, because you don't want people to carry it over into their adulthood.
That's
So
right.
by me helping my kids and us talking about these different things now, is I'm only doing it and showing them a better way and telling them a better way so they can be better parents, so their kids don't carry the traumas from them.
Right.
and it don't go from their kids to their adulthood. You know what I'm saying? Because it's hard when you don't know, you can't handle a relationship, you can't handle a friendship well, you can't handle a relationship with your siblings, with your family members, you can't even handle a relationship with the opposite sex because these traumas are set in your life. And then those traumas, like I said, certain songs come on and then it triggers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I apologize for putting those traumas and triggers in your life.
Yeah.
You know, and I had to take responsibility for what I caused. I caused that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times we don't take responsibility for the things that we cause and create in the life of other people. We just look at, well, I'm dealing with something. I'm dealing with something. I'm dealing with something. Well, guess what? They're now dealing with your something. Your something now has become their something. So now they're dealing with your something, trying to figure out how to handle your something. And they're a kid. They shouldn't try to figure out how to handle an adult something.
Right. Right.
You know, so it's hard. It's very, very hard. But when you take the time to really take the time to listen to your kids, to your children, whether they be young or old, take their feelings into consideration.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Take what they say into consideration. Have an understanding for them because, you know, they're being traumatized by us. We calling everybody else bullies in their life, and we could like, you're not going to bully my kid. You're not going to upset my kid. You're not going to do this to my child. You're not going to traumatize my child. Well, you need to go look in the mirror and tell yourself, you're not going to traumatize your son. I'm not going to traumatize my daughter. I'm not going to bully my son. I'm not going to bully my daughter. I'm not going to hurt them and cause them pain because we as parents
teach them better. Yeah,
exactly. Because we as parents, we're quick to jump to be the protector of our children from everybody else, but we don't protect our children from us.
Yes, 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 yes.
And that's where the scars come in. That's where the battles come in. And then when you finally get to this place of a spiritual walk, you know what I mean? You start to have these spiritual battles. You don't have a confidence. You have a low self-esteem.
Right.
You don't believe that you're worthy to be who God has called you to be. You don't believe that you're worth. You don't think that you're worthy or worth answering the call when He calls you. You know what I'm saying? You don't believe that that God has that the gifts that God has put in you are important, or you're important enough to carry the gifts or use the gifts for somebody else's good, because you're battling these things or the things that you have done. And a lot of times from our trauma, it sends us down a road to spiral to do things that we shouldn't be doing.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's very, very hard. So we gotta do better, you know what I mean, at not being bitter. We got to do better at not being, angry and hurtful, because what happens is we hurt our bloodline. Yeah. We you know what I'm saying? We curse our own bloodline. We talk about generational curses, but we add to the curse.
Right.
Instead of taking away from the curse, not recognize and realize the curse could stop with me.
That's right. Well, listen, I'm not cursed, because no weapon formed against me shall prosper. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not cursed. Yes, I'm going through this. Yes, this is something that has been passed through the generations, characteristics, attitudes, habits, traditions, practices carried through the generations. But that doesn't mean that, like you said, it doesn't mean that I have to do it. It stops with me.
That's right. Because you don't want your children, you don't want your baby son doing that. You know how it made you feel.
Right.
You know how it made you feel. You know what it did to you. You know, seeing different traumas in my life made me a very bad nail biter. Because it gave me a really bad anxiety as a kid.
Right.
And it gave me a really bad nervous condition. So I used to bite my nails till they bled. So my thing is when I got old and I held everything in, I didn't tell anybody what I was feeling, what I was going through, because I didn't want to get in trouble for feeling the way I felt. You know what I'm saying? Or I didn't want to bring it up because, it wasn't relevant what I was feeling, because I'm just a kid seeing what you're dealing with as an adult. But my thing, it was really traumatizing me, and it put a fear and an anxiety in me. So I did that. So as an adult, it carried over to my adulthood. So when I got really anxious or I dealt with a lot of things, I would bite my nails so they bled.
Right.
So it was very, very hard. So then when I started, when the trend came around, when people started getting their nails done all the time, I remember the first time I went to go get my nails done, the man was like, "Oh my God, you barely have any." I was like, "Yeah, I'm a bad nail biter.
Right.
I'm a bad nail biter." But it made me recognize and realize that I needed to stop doing that.
Right.
When the first time I got my nails done, and he kept saying, like, your nails shouldn't look like this. Your nails shouldn't look like this. This is not healthy. This is not healthy. But even though he kept saying it about my nails, it made me recognize and realize, what I was doing to myself was
Right.
not healthy. I was
Right.
inflicting something upon myself. I was inflicting a pain upon myself because of anxiety that was put upon me as a child. And that's how I dealt with everything. And I
Right.
held it in. So I was
Right.
battling the anxiety and didn't even know that it was anxiety. And it is trickled over into my adult life. So what happened was when situations rose up in my life, the first thing I did was be anxious.
Right. Right.
Because
That was
I didn't know how to handle it.
right.
I became overwhelmed. I got anxious. I didn't know how to handle it.
Right. And you didn't really have anyone to talk to release it. So
Yeah.
the anxiety comes when you feel like you have to figure it out all by yourself. For
Yes.
me, you know what I
Yes.
mean? Or I have to figure out how, okay, well, I don't have a guide. You know what I mean? Like it's just like sensory overload.
Yes. That's it
Yeah.
right there.
Sensory overload. Yeah.
Yes.
Right. And then because you didn't have the proper tools and there wasn't someone there to guide you and to talk to you and to help pull it out of you, you just internalize that. And then that's where the anxiety comes because it's really sometimes more than you can handle at that
Yes.
moment, especially
And then
depending
and
on
with us, we didn't identify our anxiety. We didn't know
right,
what anxiety was.
right,
So my thing is when you have somebody that you could talk to that can help identify what you're feeling,
right.
it can show you how to handle it and then battle what's trying to destroy you. You
That's right.
understand what I'm saying? It's like we got to get to a place of where we slay what's trying to slay us.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yes.
We gotta slay what's trying to slay us. I gotta slay the anxiety that's trying to slay me. Oh, anxiety, you coming at me, I'm gonna slay you. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
That's what
You
I'm
don't get to slay
saying.
me. That's what it is. Like anger, you don't get to slay me and get to live in my life. No, so anger, I'm gonna slay you. You understand what I'm
Yes.
saying? Depression, you don't get to try to come and slay me and control me. No, I'm gonna slay you
That's
before
right.
you try to come live in me. And that's what it is. We gotta slay what's trying to slay us, what's
Yeah.
sent to slay us. No, we gotta slay it with the power and authority that God has given us. We gotta slay it with the understanding of what He's given us. We gotta slay it with the word. We gotta slay it with what we are, with the confidence and the boldness of what God put in us, and recognize and realize, oh, that stuff don't get to slay me and weigh me out. No, no, no. Darkness doesn't get to slay me. I'm a light that slays the darkness.
Right.
Hold
That's
up.
right. That's
You
right.
understand what I'm saying?
That's
And then
right.
that's how you learn how to, so when you have somebody trying to teach you and pour into you and help you get to a place of freedom, that can help somebody else battling something. The
Yes.
only way you can help somebody win the battle is by learning what's causing the battle.
Yes, I was I was just about to say that. We always have to see that when we see something, we have to see what's influencing it. There's always
Yes,
an underlying cause. It's
yes,
never what you see on the surface. It's always something deeper that's
yes,
going on, right? Cause and effect, right?
yes.
Cause
That's
and effect. They
it.
teach us that in
Cause and
school.
effect.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Cause and
That's
effect.
so true.
Yes.
That's so
Yes.
true. Very,
Yeah.
very true. And you just be like, oh, now it makes sense because we
Right.
never understand, like, why do I feel this way? Why
Right.
is this happening? Or
Right.
sometimes
What's the
we don't
cause?
even think there's a root. We just think there's a moment. It's just like
Yeah.
this happened in a moment. No, no, no. This stems from something deeper. That's why you can go from 0 to 100 so quickly, because it's something so deeply rooted that you haven't dealt with or you never haven't identified to
Right.
figure out what it is, what's causing you to act this way or be affected this way.
Right.
So
And
my
that's
thing is, if you get to that thing, you gotta uproot it.
yes, that's the scheme of the enemy.
Yes.
That's his scheme.
True.
That's his
Very,
whole
very true.
thing. Is to find that thing, that
Yes.
distraction, that thing that'll derail you. It may not derail somebody else, but it's gonna derail you. And he
Yes.
finds it and he presents it so cunningly, so nicely. He
Yes.
packages it like, oh, this is something that I'm comfortable with. This is something
Mhm.
that, yes, this is it right here.
Yep.
This is what I'm supposed to be doing. Package it so that he thinks, you know what I mean? Because he thinks if I do it just this way, he knows if he does it just this way.
He knows what will trigger you.
Yes.
So he knows how to send it to you. Just like he know, oh, I like a man that smells good, that's well groomed. He'll send it to you.
He'll send
Knowing he is not for you.
right.
He's not meant for you. He's not good for you. But he presents it as such a great package.
Yeah.
You can't help but want to open the package. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? When it's a package that you should have returned to sender.
Right.
As a package that you should have just returned to sender or say wrong address.
Wrong
No longer
address.
live here.
No, yep.
You no longer
Yep.
reside here. So
Yes.
you know what I mean? So return that back because the person you looking for don't live here no
Don't
more.
live
You know what
here
I'm saying?
no
But
more.
instead, like, no, I'm just gonna open it. No, don't open it. Don't
Right.
allow
Let me see what it
curiosity.
is.
Don't allow that curiosity to raise something in you that you know that shouldn't be raised.
Yeah.
And that's what it all boils down to.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what happens.
Yeah, but that's how he gets us. And because we're not prepared spiritually, because we're not built up, we don't have our full armor on, we're not well dressed.
Yes. Yes.
We're not well dressed.
If you're busy, you might only put on half the outfit. Yeah. You know how sometimes people tell you like, oh girl, I ran out of the house with a black shoe and a blue shoe. Right. Because your mindset was so caught up. Yep. You was in such a rush, busy. You didn't take time to focus. You didn't take time. And that's what it's because when everything seems so chaotic, you don't focus, and then you don't get fully dressed, you don't get dressed properly. Right. That's what happens. You get dressed improperly. So therefore, my thing is your helmet is supposed to be up here, but you got it. You trying to put it on someplace else. Holding it on your side. Right. Yeah. Holding it on your side as you're like, okay, well, when it's time for war to happen, I'm just going to put it on instead of always having it on. Yeah. It's like your breastplate. You know what I mean? Holiness. Just like that. Yes. We loosely wear that. Yes. It's not always tightened. Yeah. Not always tightened. So when we loosely wearing that, the devil's like, But if what people say, you got to stay ready so you don't got to get ready. Got to stay ready so you know what I mean? Get ready, yes. So my thing is, if I got my armor on every day, I'm always in a place of preparation. Yeah. I'm always prepared. So if a fiery dart come at me, it came, but you know what I'm saying? But my armor's on, so I'm good. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, if you stay ready, so you don't have to get ready, you don't have to worry about that thing. But let's think about it this way, because we can say all day, I'm ready, I stay ready. But when we win when we win a battle, sometimes then we don't prepare as much. It's not to the fullest extent like it was when we were preparing to win that war. So when that time comes, that lull comes, that's when the devil, he can sneak in. Yeah. And he little attacks. Little body hits, because and that over time weaken us because our armor wasn't tightened. We let it loose. You know what else too? Sometimes when we win a battle, we think, we won the battle, so it ain't gonna be another one for a little while. When there's one coming right behind it. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is like, thank God for the win, but don't get cocky in the win. Yeah. That's right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Don't get cocky in the win. Just like, okay, I won, but I'm gonna stay alert just in case another one comes around. And stay alert. I'm glad you said that, because when you win, also watch who attaches. Yes. To when you win. And they may seem like they're for you for a long time. Ooh, for a long time. And then all of a sudden, they've weakened you. They've poked holes in your boat over time. They've, you know what I mean, planted bad seed, weeds, and weeds, and now it's growing and flourishing. And you just left yourself open. Yeah, they know when to strike because they know exactly, because they've been around you so long. They know when your defensive mechanisms are down. Yes, honey. Yes. So because they study you. Sis. They study you, and you don't even recognize they study you. So they know when you at your highs and when you at your lows. They know exactly when to strike. Yes. And a strike doesn't necessarily mean that they're striking in a negative way. They could be striking for, hey, I need to talk. Hey, I'm going through this. Hey, da 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 da. You know what I mean? Like, I'm telling you, they pull from you to drain you. They pull from you to drain you. Yes. And my thing is just like, you know what? You always, and then you don't recognize and you're like, I gotta be there for them. But they always take it from you. Right. They always take it from you, and they take from you so much that they filled up, and then you empty. Right. And then my thing is they too busy for you. Or not even they're always taking, because they could be giving a little bit as well too. So it makes it seem in your head like it's a give-take relationship when what they're giving is not good. It's not good. That is very, very true. I've had a lot of people in my life. Listen, I've had a lot of people in my life that I've dealt with in that particular way. And when I woke up and I was awakened to it, and I recognized and realized that thing for what it really was, I'm just like, oh wow, they part of my battle. Right. Girl. And then they part of my battle. You know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy. And then what happens is you so hurt. Yes. Like that. I thought you was here to help me fight the battle, right. But you actually part of the battle. Part of it. You know, and my thing is like, okay, so I'm gonna have to start fighting you too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to fight against you, what you've been throwing at me.
Yep.
And they so cunning with it,
Yep.
and they so slick and smooth with it. You don't even recognize it because they come dressed up.
Oh yeah.
And disguised as something totally different than what they really are. But when your eyes are open to it, you know you hurt because you really thought they were for you and they're really not for you. Right. And then what happens is sometimes we you know, our defenses fall even more because now we're wallowing in the hurt.
Right.
So now I gotta battle the hurt as well as the betrayal.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? I gotta battle the truth. I gotta battle with the truth. Right. As well as the hurt. Right. And it's just like sometimes, you know, the truth was right there all along. And then you like deep down inside, like, I knew it for what it really was, right. But I never wanted to accept it. Right. And I kept thinking, not them. That's everybody else but them. Because we try to see those little things and we made excuses.
Right. Right. Right.
And we can't do that. And that's another thing we battle. We battle and we make excuses. And then we you know, we were like, oh no, I'm not gonna fight this, I'm just gonna fight that. I'm gonna make an excuse for why they acting like that. But you had that one friend be like, you know, that's really not your friend, right? Right. And you be like, what? They'd be like, you know, that's really not your friend, right? And then you get like, then that spirit of offense comes.
Offense coming.
Like, that's my friend. That's a good person. They more than a friend. They've always been there for me. And they be like, really? Have they really been there for you? Right. Let's really take a look at that thing. Right. And you got that one person that really does love you and trying to awaken you, not because they're jealous. They want to awaken you because they're tired of you being taken advantage of. Yes. They're tired of seeing you being hurt. They're tired of you seeing somebody trying to slither their way in there, and they're actually using you for their own purpose.
For their own purpose. You know what I'm
And so when you know, and then sometimes you got to go back to that person and you got to eat humble pie and be like, especially when you awaken to be like, I'm so sorry, you tried to tell me. Right. Try to pull my coattail to it, but and instead of me listening and really paying attention to what you said and taking heed to what you said and then starting to be more alert, I got offended by what you said. Right. And the reason why the truth is I got offended because it was true.
Right. Right. You knew it deep down inside, but you weren't ready to accept it at that moment. Yes. So you were offended that somebody else saw something. You were offended that somebody else saw something that you saw that you weren't ready to accept. And they had the courage to verbalize it.
Yes, exactly. That's it right there. I wasn't in a place of acceptance. Yep. Wasn't in a place of acceptance. You know, we quick to accept a lot of the wrong things. Right. We quick to accept all the things that mean us no good, or things meant to harm us or to hurt us, things to hinder us, things to set up, distract us. We'll accept those things. But when it's things meant to grow us, we won't gravitate to that as quickly. Right. We won't gravitate to the things that are sent to grow us or to strengthen us or to enlighten us or to encourage us or to teach us. Right. We won't accept those things as quickly as we accept the wrongful things. Right. And you know, we got to get to a better place and recognize and realize what's really good for me and what's not good for me. Right. And I could be okay with, okay, you know what, I thought you was good for me, but you wasn't, but I learned a lesson from it. So even though you set me up, even though you poured some negative things in me, you planted some weeds in my garden, I thank you for it, because now that I'm at a different place in my life and I've conquered that thing now I know what it looks like. Right. So now I can help somebody else be more alert, and I can describe it to them and give them a description of it so they can see if it's in their own life. Right. 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 Using what you're going through to help somebody out. I'm telling you, some people, they sleep on people. You know what I mean? They see what they're going through and they see what they're doing, and they're just like, oh, that is not God. But you don't know what God is doing. That the ministry that's going to come out of their situation, the ministry that can come out of your situation is serious. It's serious. And I believe that's why the devil attacks in the way that he does, because he wants to discredit you as well. He wants to discredit you. Very, very true. So that even when you do come into full right relationship with God, there's going to be those naysayers discrediting you. You know what I mean? Pulling up your past and all that other stuff to try to make other people not listen. Like look what they used to dabble in. That's why I freely tell my story. Yeah. Listen, I'm gonna shame the devil and tell the truth. I'm gonna let my testimony speak. Okay. Right. And that's why I tell my story without shamefulness or embarrassment. Right. Because my thing is, if you embarrassed by that thing, you're not helping anybody. If you ashamed of it, you're not going to tell the full story, nor will you won't even want to tell your story because you're still embarrassed and ashamed of it. No, I'm not ashamed of it. This is where I was. This is what I used to do, but this is who I am now. And if you can't see past that and recognize and realize this is who I am now, then I'm not for you. That's okay, because I'm not for everybody. That's okay. But my story might be or help to somebody else, but like, girl, I used to be that. That used to be me. So you can sit there and try to discredit me all you want to, but your truthfulness and you not being ashamed will sit there and awaken something in other people, and they'll respect you so much more that they'll sit there and they'll come to battle for you and speak up for you without you even knowing it.
Without you even knowing.
Like, not her character. Okay, that's what she used to be, but that's not who she is now. I'm watching what she does now. I'm watching how she speaks now. So what you're telling me, that I already know that story. You're not telling me nothing I already know, and that shuts it down. When you have more people that come to your defense because of your honesty, because of your tenacity, because of your genuineness, you don't even gotta say nothing. You don't got to say nothing. You got more people that's fighting for you, and you be like, wow, I didn't even know that I touched you in such a way that you felt the need to encourage me. Thank you. That you felt the need to fight on my behalf and look out for me. Thank you. I appreciate that. You don't even recognize that it's going on. You know what I'm saying? You don't got to do nothing. Other people, you got people that will try to destroy you, but they got other people that will sit there and help build you up.
That's right. That's right. All day, every day. All day, every day. We'll help you fight spiritually. We'll fight for you spiritually. We'll be part of the army that's being used to fight those fiery darts and those weapons that are coming, and those powers and principalities and all those things. You got people in your corner that's gonna do that for you, because they know what it's like to be under a spiritual attack. They know what it's like to be deep in a spiritual attack. And they want to see you win. They know you're gonna win. But they also know that at this point in time, this is just something that you have to go through.
Some other people like, look at her life. You think she what that's why if she was this and this wouldn't be happening to her life. This is happening to her because she did this. So they make it look like they try to make it look like you're going through this because it's a punishment. Where other people for something you've done in the past, other people like, no, what she going through is necessary for where God has taken her to.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This is just building up her character.
That's right.
This is just building up her worship life. This is just building her praise life. This is just building her, her love. This is just building her heart. What it's doing is breaking the things in her heart that she carried for so long.
Honey.
It's removing the stone and replacing it with flesh.
Honey.
That's what it's doing.
Honey.
That's what it's doing. And you be like, wow, you know what I'm saying? But you have people who really will try to sell it as, oh, she's going through this, or she's in that low period of her life because she did this in the past.
Right.
That's not how God works.
Right. And that's the mentality that we've grown from. You talked about it last week, how you used to feel like, oh, this is because of something that I'm going through. But now, you know what I mean? Now okay, this is the attack, because the devil likes to attack our heart.
Yes.
He likes to attack our heart because he knows if he attacks our heart, what it's going to do to other places in our body. It's going to affect our mind. You know what I mean? It's going to affect our drive, our ambition. I love kids.
She said, I'm a part of this podcast. No. I'm here every Friday. Y'all ain't going to leave me out today. Y'all not going to do that.
No, she's saying, I want something that I can't have, and I'm going to make noise until I get it. That's what she's saying. Until someone decides to give me what I'm looking for. And the distraction of children, because the devil attacks our heart, which then attacks our mind, which then attacks our ambition and our goals and our consciousness and our emotions.
Yes.
Our emotions. Just from something that attacks the heart. And it could be anything. It could be a death. It could be, you know what I mean, a loss. It could be, you know what I mean, a break in a friendship. It could be anything. It could be your own personal battle with inside yourself where I'm just not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
The grief of that's a shot to your heart. That could take you down.
All it takes is for one person to reject you in your life.
Yeah.
That one point of rejection, however we accept that rejection, is what we start to get, and we start to have that mindset of I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
Every time somebody rejects you, or every time you some rejection going, you hear a no, or you know, it plants a seed of I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not strong enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not thin enough, I'm not thick enough. Everything is I'm not, because that one thing of rejection. Now instead of us recognizing, okay, no, I'm going to look at that rejection as a point of protection. I'm going to look at that rejection as it wasn't for me. That's not what I'm supposed to have in my life. I'm gonna look at that rejection as as a saving grace. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna look at that rejection as, oh, you block that nonsense. You know what I'm saying? When you get to that place and you think like that, I'm gonna look at that rejection. It was like I wasn't supposed to be friends with you in the first place.
That's right. That's
not
right.
as, oh, they don't like me, or what's wrong with me that they don't want to be my friend, or what's wrong with me that nobody understands me, what's wrong with me that they don't want me part of their group. I don't need to be a part of your group because you're dark and I'm light. So I don't need to be a part of the doctor. So thank you for the rejection, because it was actually like a protection. And if you can have a mindset like that at a young age, so that's why it's very important that, you know, that we talk to our children and be honest with them and real about them, and stop making everybody feel like, oh, you a winner too because you participated. No, sometimes you're gonna lose, baby.
Girl, you better listen.
You don't always get the trophy. Listen, you don't always get the bouquet of flowers. You don't always get the praise. You don't always get the applause. Sometimes you're gonna lose. Sometimes they're not gonna like you. Sometimes they're not gonna appreciate you. Sometimes they're not gonna respect you. Sometimes they don't want to play with you. Sometimes they're not gonna pick you. And guess what? That's okay. You're not for everybody. It's all right. You don't gotta be the winner all the time, because what happens to you, this is when people strive to be perfect too. And my thing is, when they're not perfect, they start to become sick in that. I remember I was like that, and my daughter became like that. And then a really good close friend of mine at one time was like that. I used to always I had to go, I needed to be an A student, A. And then when I didn't get my first A, I was devastated. I was devastated because now I'm no longer perfect in the eyes of people.
Wow. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now I'm not as smart as I thought I was. Now I'm not as good as I thought I was at that. So my thing is not realizing, no, you gave it all you had, and that you just maybe didn't have enough understanding. Maybe you just couldn't get an A in that, but you got a hard C. You earned that. You understand what I'm saying? You still gave it all you had. And no, you may not be perfect in this area, and you might not have it all together in this area, but you do great in this area. That's okay.
That's right.
That's the importance of it. So that's why it's important to tell our kids that, instead of letting them know, oh no, no, you get a trophy because you participated. No, you don't.
Right. You didn't win today. It's okay.
That's it.
It's all right. You know what I mean? I tell my daughter all the time, listen, I ask her, did you do your best?
Yeah.
Was that your best? If that was your best, then you know what? Then I'm okay with that. We can try a little harder next time, maybe. You know what I mean? But if that's all you got, then that's all you got. And that's okay.
Yes.
That's okay. I'm not striving for her to be an A student, because she may not be an A student. She may not be an A student in the public school because of how they do their test and how the teacher teaches the lesson, because it's not them really learning the information. Yes, you learn the information, but it's also learning the teaching style of the teacher.
Yes, because everybody teaches different.
Everybody teaches different, and you got to learn how they're teaching and how they want to see it. Because if you do it exactly how they want to see it, you're gonna get an A. You're gonna get a high B. You're gonna, you know what I mean? You're gonna get what it is you need to get because you've learned their teaching style.
Yeah, and then every teacher is not meant to be a teacher, because they're not teaching for you to learn. They're just doing it as a job.
They don't care if you learn or not.
They're not doing it to help grow a child. They're not doing it to heighten the mindset of a person. They're not doing it to help you be better. They're just doing it because it's a job.
Right. Someone told them they were good at it, and they said, okay, well, it comes easy and natural to me, so let me do this.
Yeah, and you might be good in this one area, but you lack in grace.
Yes.
You lack in love.
Yes.
You lack in caring. You lack in being a person, or being a people person.
Empathy.
You're not a people person.
Right.
You're not empathetic. You're not sympathetic. You just a teacher, and then you come out. Sometimes these kids leave worse than what they came because how you talk to them, or how you demean them, or you embarrass them in front of somebody else, or you're praising everybody else and putting them down. Oh, you did a wonderful job, Billy. I'm so proud of you. Oh, Michelle, you could do better next time.
Yeah.
Do that.
Listen,
Don't do that.
listen.
I thank everybody for giving it their best.
That's
And if
right.
you didn't do your best this time and then you didn't give it your best and you didn't study, then I'm gonna ask you to do better studying. Is there some way I can help you study better? Is there some other ways we can do something better? But I want everybody in here to always try to give it your best. And if you gave it your best, don't be upset. You may not get it this time, but you'll get it next time. You never make anybody feel less than, and you don't try to cause and create division. And everywhere you go, people, there's always somebody who tries to cause and create division on the work site, causing and creating division between the front and the back. You know what I'm saying? Between this person and that group of people, there's always somebody that try to cause a division. But you got to be the person alert to recognize the division and the division creator.
That's right. That's right. The vision creator, and that's right. And also that the problem isn't that particular person, isn't that thing, isn't this person, that thing, this, that. It's not that. The problem is the spirit of offense.
Yes.
The enemy, he's scheming. He wants to divide. He knows if he divides and separates, then we ain't communicating.
That's it.
And we feel like we're isolated on an island all by ourselves, and then we start just doing things.
We start doing things, we start acting out, we start doing things we're not supposed to do, we start dabbling in stuff we shouldn't dabble in. You know, it takes us to a new place because we're looking for some place to be affirmed. We're looking for somebody to give us some type of accolade because we're not getting it from nobody else. I don't need nobody to sit there and tell me I did a good job.
Right.
You know what I mean? Listen, if I gave it all I had and if it helped one person, then you know what? I did a good job.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? It don't take, you don't got to impress the whole room.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's the importance of it. And it's just like when we recognize those things, and just like you said, sometimes people don't know how to be empathetic or understanding to somebody else because it wasn't instilled in them.
Right. There it is.
So you get to the root of the problem. The reason why you are a division creator is because that's what you know. Yes. That's what you were taught. That's what you saw. And you just repeating what you saw and what you was taught, not recognizing really it was wrong. You know, my mother, she was telling me that she met this man, you know, when she was in a facility who was he was an ex-Klansman.
Mm-hmm.
And she said that him and his wife got saved. They went to church one Sunday and they got saved. And he said he didn't know that what he was doing, all the stuff that he was, you know, repeating and how he was treating people, he didn't know that he was wrong. Mm-hmm. He didn't know that what he was doing was wrong because that's not how the way they taught it to him.
Right.
They taught it to him that this is the right way to be. This is the right way to treat people. That only this particular color or this race and species of people is right. That we gotta hate everything else. And he would take bits and pieces from the word and add what they wanted to add to you know what I'm saying, to get their mindset to manipulate their minds to be who they wanted them to be. But when he got to church and he really heard the thing of God, he was so convicted in his spirit. He knew that wasn't the way to be. And he walked away from that life and became a new creature. And ever since, all he wants to do is spread love. And want to know that and love everybody the way Christ loved everybody. But he didn't recognize that it was wrong. He didn't recognize that until he saw it for himself, until something in him broke, until something was awakened. And that's what happens. And he didn't realize that thing. And he was so regretful for the time that he wasted or for the things that he did in his past or how he treated people or what he thought was okay to think. You know what I'm saying? So he had a battle in his life and he didn't even know it was a battle.
There it is. He didn't even know, you know what I mean? Because it's not always what we're verbally taught, but it's also what we see. He probably saw that and was just, and saw the praise that came from that and was like, oh, that's good. That's positive. Just like with toddlers, they may do something, they get a reaction. If it's negative, they may do it again because that negative reaction was like, oh, that's, you know, because they don't know. They're trying to figure it out. Or they may see something that got a positive reaction and then that's what they're doing to get that one-time positive reaction when really it probably isn't something that they should be doing. You know what I mean? But just because it got a positive reaction, they're like, oh, okay, this is what I'm going to keep doing until they learn and get older that no, you're leaving yourself open.
Yes, it's just like you said, it's just like when you toddlers or you have kids and they say something fresh, you know it's fresh, but you laugh at it. And so my thing is they laughing at it because we think it's cute. You know that wasn't cute, but they do it and they got it because they got that positive reaction from you, even though you should have said something and you should have nipped it in the butt right there. Now my thing is now they do it all the time. Now they walk around and now they sassy and they got this fresh mouth and they grown, they got their hand on their hip and they doing this stuff like that. And now you now you be like, okay, you better watch your mouth. Now you want to say it and it's 3 years later when you should have said it when they first did it. You should have corrected them when they first did it. You don't want to correct them. Now it's so far gone. Now you trying to bring correction to it. And you know what I mean? Like you and they're not receiving. They're not receptive of it. Like, well, you laughed every other time I did it. Why is the problem now?
Right. But in that, if you continue, if you're consistent with it, you can change the habit.
That is very true.
Yeah.
But now you got to break the habit.
Now you got to break it.
You would have never let it become a habit in the first place.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be something that you had to do. A lot of times we need to tackle things right at the beginning, as soon as you see it, and stop it where it's at. You understand what I'm saying? As soon as that match is lit, blow it out.
That's the truth. But let me tell you, my sister, some people can't handle that because I've gotten to the point where I'm gonna tackle it right then and there. If I see something a little off, I'll be like, "Oh, you okay? Everything all right? You need to talk." You know what I mean? And if that, I open that door. If they decide not to walk through that open door and then still get offended afterwards, then boo, that's on you because I addressed it. I gave you the opportunity to speak, and it maybe not in that moment, but maybe by me addressing it, maybe I feel like it should then give you time to think about it before you make a negative action that might necessarily that might sever a tie or that might hurt, you know. But a lot of people can't handle that. A lot of people can't handle addressing it or tackling it in the moment. It's something that you have to learn. You have to learn how to do that. You have to learn how to be confident. And excuse me, Asante. Thank you. You have to learn how to address it and to be confident in the fact that it's only because her Phoenix is here today, so she's trying to. That's exactly the, you know what I mean? Because when you have multiple kids, okay, I've learned this now because I had 2 kids. Now, when I had 1 kid, I wouldn't have. Well, I still would have thought about it because I have sisters and brothers. You know what I mean? So when you have multiple children, you have to make sure that they all know that they are loved.
Yes.
That they all know that they are cared for. You know what I mean? In their own special way.
That's it right there. Their own special way. Yeah,
their own special way. Because the way I love you is not the way that your other sibling needs the love. But when we don't express that, when it doesn't come out of our mouths, they don't see it as children. They don't see it like that. They see it as you love them more because you're doing more for them.
And that's the very, very God honest truth. You got to love your children as the individuals that they are. You can't, like, I can love us whole as a family because I love my whole family. That's right. But I can't love you all exactly the same. Some things have to be a little bit different. I love you. I love everything about you. But because, you know, your sibling has this going on, I have to give them just a little bit extra time. Right. Or a little bit. That doesn't mean I love you any less. That's right. Or I don't see you. I see you. That's right. Not only do I see you and I hear you and I take into consideration everything about you, your feelings, your emotions, everything. It matters to me. So let me know if you feel slighted or you feel that I've forgotten you. Let me know that. Because if that's the case, I need to spend some more time with you. I need to let you know that you are loved, not to pacify you, but to love you through that feeling and let you understand that you are important to the team.
Yes. And that's the piece right there, where it's you tell your kids, let me know. You have to let me know. I tell Phoenix all the time, I am not a mind reader, nor I don't want to be. I don't want to be. I'm not a mind reader. So if you need some extra attention, if you need some extra love, if you need something, you have to let me know. And when I ask, because I feel like there is something that may be off, I need you to be honest with me and let me know, yes, something is off. Yes, this is how I'm feeling. Not sugarcoat it, I'm okay, or, oh, I'm just tired, or no, I'm good. No. I need you to be honest with yourself.
Yes. Absolutely.
So
and
that
but the fact that you're telling her at a young age, that's a great thing that I need you to tell. I'm not a mind reader.
Right.
You have to let me know. You have to communicate with me, because what happens if you don't tell your children that, you go into your whole life thinking that people should have, when they close to you,
Yeah.
when you build a bond with them, well, you should know. You should
Yeah.
know what I'm thinking. You should know what I feel. Then you go into a relationship where he should know what's wrong with me. He
Right.
should understand when I'm having an off day.
That's right.
No, sweetie, I need you to tell me.
Yeah.
I may know that something's a little off, but I don't know why you off.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, and then when and I'm tired of you saying, is it my hormones, is it my cycle? Well, I don't know what else to think. You know what I mean? So let me know what it is. Like, let me know you having a bad day. Let me know you feel like I'm not paying you enough attention.
That's right.
Let me know that you want some more quality time. Let me know that you feel unvalued in this friendship. Let me know that you feel that that you're being slighted. Let me know that you feel like I don't respect the words that you speak.
That's right.
Tell me what's going on.
That's
so
right.
If you tell me, we can work at it, and I can do better, and I can do my best to not let you feel like that again.
That's right.
But if you don't communicate that with me, I won't know. So the fact that you're telling her that at an early age, that communication is necessary in every relationship, and it's starting with the mother-daughter relationship, she's going to allow that to go forward in her life and her friendships. You know what I'm saying? And her relationship with her grandmother, or her cousins, her aunts, and her uncles. She's going to carry that over in every relationship that she endures, even at work. Let me let them know. I feel overwhelmed here.
Yep, that's right. That's right. That's right. And
I feel underappreciated.
Listen, and that's the one thing I tell leaders. When you listen on your job, when you feel like you are burning out and you feel like you're overwhelmed, you have to let somebody know.
Yes.
Let your boss know. I feel overwhelmed. I feel overworked. I'm tired. I need some help.
Yes. Yes.
Listen, when I was I left my boss, I need some help. Like, this is a lot of work. For one person, this is a lot. I need some help.
Yes.
And help came only because I opened my mouth and said something. Had I not opened my mouth and said anything, I would have been that lone wolf. I would have been burnt out years before I actually really got burnt out.
Yes. And you know what? I learned that the hard way at work, because I felt like y'all know that I'm being overworked.
Right.
Y'all know I'm overwhelmed. My thing is, everybody will be leaving at 5:15. Okay. We work from 9 to 5, but I got there like 7:30, 8 o'clock. So I was there from 8 to 5. Mm-hmm. But because I would have so many messages at the end of the day from my doctor, I would have like maybe 30 messages. Mm-hmm. So I had to do all these callbacks with results or calling medications and stuff at the end of the day. So when y'all all was leaving at 5:15, I'm there till 6:30. Mm-hmm. This is what I was doing. I was so overwhelmed. And my thing is, and throughout my day, while I was still doing my job for my doctor, I was helping everybody else. Andrew, can you help me with this, answering this question for you? Can you take my next patient back? Can you call this person back for me? I don't understand what this person is saying. You're really good with them. Can you communicate better with them? Mm-hmm. So sometimes the stuff that I needed to do, I could did in a day, I wasn't doing because I was helping everybody else. But then at 5 o'clock, 5:15, I'm still sitting there. Everybody, bye, Andrea. Bye, mm-hmm. Bye. Have a good night. Have a good day. So I was, and then it got there one day, me and my doctor, I blew up at him. Like, mm-hmm. because I was there was just too much. Like, I was like, he said one thing too many to me. And it was one thing too many that you put back on my shoulders. Mm-hmm. And it was like a little feather that fell on a heap, and everything just said boosh. And I exploded. And then he was like, so that's when he had a meeting with the office manager. He was like, Andrea needs help.
Right.
I didn't realize that I was putting all this weight and pressure on her. And I don't think nobody else realized that, but everybody needs to help, because she's doing more than way more, and she's going above and beyond, and she's doing more of the requirement. She needs help throughout the day. Right. And he was like, because we just had a big, and he could have fired me the way I went off,
of course,
but he didn't, because he knew that wasn't me. And he saw like, okay, like, she's going off. Like, I was so upset that I had tears in my eyes, because I'm just like, oh my God, I'm about to strangle you.
Right.
Like, that's
because he knew he was, and I love people who are empathetic, because they know he knew you weren't blowing up at him because of him. He knew that there was something else going on, and he probably saw it, but he just was so busy himself that he didn't pay attention and think, okay, well, let me get her help now, or maybe I can't afford to give her help now. You know what I mean? And then once it was time to afford to get you help, he just forgot. You know what I mean? People forget. People forget.
And then because you're so good at what you do, sometimes
Exactly.
it's a blessed burden.
Yes,
When
of
you
course.
know how to do your job, or you know how to do a lot of things very well at your job, it becomes a blessed burden, because then everybody starts to depend on you.
Yeah.
And then you become Mr. Dependable. And then that's, instead of you saying no, you always the yes person.
Yes.
So a lot of stuff, the reason why a lot of things why you're overwhelmed is not just from people putting stuff on you, is because you're taking on tasks that you should say no to.
That's right.
And that's what I wasn't doing.
Right.
And then in that overwhelmness, I had to get to a place like I have my own stuff to do. If I get some downtime and I get my stuff taken care of, then I can help you. But I can't put all my stuff to the side to help you so you can get out of here at 5 and I'm still here till 6:30 every day. It became so much.
Listen, you got to reorganize your life. And this is just we're diverting, but and when you're a leader and when you work and when you have a ministry and you have to prioritize your life so that the work is not taking over. The work doesn't come first. God first, of course. Okay, I believe in God. God is all and all with me, so He's always head of my life. But when I'm talking about business, I'm talking about structure your life in accordance. You got kids, your kids come before work. If there's an assignment that has to keep you at work and it's not pre-planned, listen, you need to open your mouth and say to your boss, I'm supposed to be out at this time.
Yes.
To go get my children, because they are a ministry as well. They need to be fertilized and cultivated and all that other stuff. But this project that you just gave me, it's going to have to wait until tomorrow. I will work on it all day tomorrow, and I will plan to stay later tomorrow. Then that way I can go home, spend time with my children, because those unexpected emergencies, they throw kids off as well too.
Yes. But you know what, when you look at everything about it, like you said, our children are our first ministry, and instead of our families, our first ministry. What happens is because we become so overwhelmed and we get to this place and we get caught up on these different things, we don't recognize that's another spiritual battle. Like, we're taking on all these extra things. We're doing all these extra things, and then we suffer in silence.
Yes.
That's the spiritual battle, to suffer in silence, because we say yes, yes, yes. And then you try to figure out, you stretch yourself so thin, and you be like, if I stretch myself anymore, I'm going to either snap, and that rubber band is going to snap and break, or you know what I'm saying? Like, or I'm just going to disappear and I won't be here any longer. And you suffer in silence, which is a spiritual battle.
Yes,
and you know what I'm saying? And we don't understand that. So you are being overwhelmed and being anxious or feeling like that. We have to verbalize these things and not be embarrassed by it. We have to say that I'm taking on more than I can chew. Right. I need help. Right. I need help. And that's the thing. We're embarrassed sometimes. That pride will put us in a place that, and pride is an attack of the enemy. That pride will put us in a place that we won't even ask for help. Right. We'll just keep on taking on, try to figure something out. Instead of saying, I'm struggling over here, I need some help over here. Right. I need this. Or saying to your boss, listen, I agree to this time and I understand this, but I have to get home to my family. Right. I need to do this, and not be afraid of what the consequence, or not be afraid of doing this. And then what happens is your kids start to resent the job because they think that you pour more into the job than you do them. Same thing when you go to church. You want to be on every board. You want to be on every board because you think you're pleasing God, but all you're trying to do is please people and fill in the gaps.
Right.
When you could do that by strengthening your relationship with God. Yes. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's how you do it. Strengthen your relationship. Being on every board is not going to do nothing with your relationship, because guess what? That takes away from your relationship too. Yes. I'm on every board in the church. I don't even got time to spend time with God.
Yep.
Because you're doing everything in the church, because you're stretching yourself then, but you think that's what you're supposed to do when you're serving God. That's not, God didn't ask you to get burnt out serving him.
Right.
He just said to serve him, but we still got to serve him with a mindset saying, God, I need help. Pastor, I need help. Tell them I can't do this part. No, I can't do this. Well, you got to be obedient. I am being obedient. And God told me to tell you that I can't do no more.
Right.
I gotta love me first. I gotta spend time with my family. My family is the first ministry, and you have to respect that as a church family.
Yes,
you trying to tell me, being this, you gotta be a part of this ministry, part of this ministry, part of this ministry. But then you're forgetting your ministry, and what happens? Your family starts to resent church.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we have to find a boundary, and then you suffer in silence because you're trying to please God, you're trying to please the ministry, you're trying to please the church, you're trying to please your family, and then you're pleasing all these people, but you're not pleasing yourself because you're overwhelmed. So you suffer in silence, and then next you know, all these different things start to happen to us. Yeah. And like you said, because we got so much going on in our mind, that breakdown in our mind becomes a breakdown in our body.
Oh yeah. Oh, the body keeps score. The body keeps score. Every single time. Every single time that breakdown happens, every single time that attack happens, our bodies are keeping score of it. We can feel that.
Yes. Then you got tension in your shoulders.
Right.
Then you got migraines. Yeah. You got heart palpitations. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? You having stomach problems because you done developed an ulcer. So what happens is your body is breaking down because it went from your mind into your body because you didn't verbalize, I can't do this. You didn't verbalize what you needed. You didn't verbalize how you felt. You didn't verbalize it. So you get to that silence where stress is a silent killer. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, it is.
And that's what the enemy uses. Stress them. And you can be stressed in the church as well. You understand what I'm saying? Not just in your natural life, you can be stretching your spirit, stressing your spiritual life as well. So you got to have a balance. You got to have a balance, and you got to recognize these things and know and recognize your battles when you see them. Everything is not just coming from outside. There's some things coming from inside the church as well. These are battles that we have, and we got to recognize it for what it is, call it what it is, and nip it in the butt.
Right. That's why the retreats are called Balanced Life.
Yes. And I'm so thankful for those. I'm so thankful for that, but I'm thankful that you answered the call and being obedient to what God told you to do, because leaders do need that.
Oh, yeah.
And they don't recognize that it's okay to be vocal in love, but say how you feel.
That's right.
That's
right. Communicate.
That I need to be refreshed. I'm refreshing everybody else, but I need to be refreshed. So I'm so thankful that you're obedient and doing what God is telling you to do for that.
Amen. And I'm thankful as well too. But that's what that's ingrained in us from school, from the brick and mortar, that we don't know. Shh, be quiet, sit down, don't speak, listen to this lesson, learn it this way, do it this way, don't work together, take this test by yourself, you're scored solely on what you do. If we do participation, then you know what I mean, it's a group thing, but that's rare. It's rare to have participation in school, like a group project. It's rare. You don't do that until high school, after you've already been ingrained on how to not work with other people. We're taught
to do everything as an individual, and not with help.
Yes.
By yourself. Do it by yourself. Success by yourself. You know what I'm saying? Elevation by yourself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Good by yourself. Study by yourself. Right. Everything learn by yourself. So you taught to be an individual. Yes. You're not taught to work with others. You're not taught how to ask for help, and you're not taught to be okay, to be honest. You just do it by yourself. Figure it out. Here's the manual, figure it out.
Yep.
Same thing at church. Here's the Bible, figure it out.
Here's the Bible, figure it out. I'm only going to preach I'm only going to speak on these particular scriptures because these are the scriptures that I hold near and dear to my heart. We all do this. I'm not going to stretch anymore and really dig into what the Word of God says and allow it to grow me, allow it to change me. Allow it to change my demeanor and how I talk and how I learn and how I approach things. You know what I mean? And especially in the brown community, because they use the Bible as a weapon.
I gotta say, I was telling somebody the other day, I grew up Pentecostal. So it was either Jesus or hell. That's what you was called, Jesus or hell. It's either, that's it. Do right. Anything you do wrong, anytime you slip up, you're going straight to hell.
And that's what I'm saying. You do one wrong thing and you going to hell. You got the devil in you. You know what I mean?
That's not true.
You're not as elevated as this person because you did one wrong thing.
You're not connected to God because you did that. If you was, you wouldn't have did that.
Or because your thing is something we can see.
Yes.
Versus my thing that you can't see.
Yeah. Or you
That
too ashamed to even to verbalize that you're struggling with something,
right,
that I'm struggling with this thing. So we try to hide it from everybody,
right.
not knowing that the reality is I need help so I can be delivered from this thing.
Yes.
And I don't know how to get it. I'm struggling with this thing, but you're so embarrassed to say anything because you're made to feel that you're not really a godly person,
Right.
because godly people don't struggle.
Right.
When God, there is no struggle.
Right.
Once you get saved, you get it. No, you don't.
No.
It's a daily practice.
Yeah.
It's a daily work. It's a daily pruning. It's a daily, process, it's a daily stretching. It's a daily thing where God is doing something, but it's a daily press of us.
Oh,
yeah. We have to we got to get in everything. Like he said, we got to get understanding. And he also said our people perish for the lack of knowledge. So even though you give me the word, I don't understand it. So I don't have any knowledge.
How do you get understanding? How do you get understanding? Prayer. And supplication. Yes, pray. You always say it. Pray.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of the armor that we fail to put on in the mornings. Mm-hmm. We fail to pray.
Mm-hmm.
We fail to pray and pray and pray without ceasing. We fail to, when those thoughts come up, to be like, no, that is not my thought. I bind that.
Yes, I understand.
No.
But it's okay to say, God, it's okay to pray for understanding. But also, Esther, you can also, when your prayers, God, I'm asking you to put me under the right teachers so I can understand this thing. Yeah. God, send it. God, I'm praying that you send the teachers who's going to send the word and who's going to teach the word the right way, the way it was meant to be taught. Not to take from it, not to add to it, not to demean me because I don't know. But God, I'm asking you to send those who's going to teach the word, but they're going to teach it in love. Send those who got a heart like Christ. So those are the kind of prayers you pray. Right. Like when you pray and you pray in those things, this is what we're praying for. God, send those people who are not ashamed to share their testimony and their story. So because they got the same struggle I got. So it can help me overcome my struggle. Send those people who are not ashamed, who are not afraid, who's not going to beat me down, but help build me up. Right. You know what I'm saying?
But then here comes the people who say, here they come when they say, okay, well, you pray and you ask that, and then someone comes and you get with them, and then I got hurt. You know how they always say, oh, you pray and ask God for this, but first one always ain't it, type of thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But people got to understand, even in your hurt, you can't hurt other people.
Right.
You can't let your hurt trickle into somebody else, because now you're infecting them with your hurt.
Right. Or you can learn from your hurt.
Exactly. That's what you do. Learn from the hurt, teach from the hurt, and teach from the hurt. Way, yeah. Not a bad way.
Because it may have seemed, you pray for God to send you something and something comes, and that thing may seem good for a little bit, but then it's not so great. But I've learned when that happens is to be like, okay, well, what can I learn from this? I've learned that, oh, this is what I'm really looking for. This is what I really need to be specific in asking. You need to be specific in your prayer. Like we watched Aladdin with Will Smith last night, and he was granting wishes. And when the guy said, oh, I want to make me a prince, he goes, there's a lot of gray areas in that. You know what I mean? You got to be specific. He goes, because I could just boop, and he made a prince over there. Not you, but somebody else. So we got to be specific in our prayers, which is part of our armor.
That's right there. Be specific. Yes. But God wants you to be, because some people make you think, oh, just pray. Don't say, oh, God, I just want a car. No, God, bless me. Can I be blessed with a fine automobile with no payments? Or can you give me the finances to cover the payments? Can you give me this? I can give you a car. But God, you gave me a car. This heap of junk keeps breaking down. All you asked for was a car. You didn't ask for a car that works. Right. You didn't ask for a car that was good on gas and mileage. You just asked for a car. Right. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, I do.
You want to specify that thing. Oh, God, send me a man. Well, I could just send you any old kind of man. Any old man could just walk into the door. But the same thing I heard you pray for, the enemy heard you pray for. So I can send you any old thing. You know what I mean? So my thing is, no. God, I need a God. God, I'm asking for a God-fearing man. I'm asking for a man who's not afraid to pray, not afraid to surrender, not afraid to be transparent. A person that, that is healed. Okay, yes. I'm praying for a man that's healed from his trauma. Yes. I'm praying for a man who learned from his trauma, and he's a better person. He's a better human being. I'm praying for a man who got some therapy, some Jesus therapy and some natural therapy. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes. So yes, but I'm also praying for myself to be able to see those things, not as I think they should be seen. You know what I mean? Because like my brother says, he goes, you know, it's the girls who fall for the fairy tales in the movies. We fall for that fairy tale. This is how he's supposed to be. You know what I mean? Like we fall for that okey doke, and then we when we don't see that in physical form, we're just like, oh, that is not it. Not realizing ain't nobody like that.
I've learned when people say, "Oh, I want the fairy tale." No, I
What
don't
is
want that? I don't want your fairy tale. I don't want what you say a fairy tale looks like. I want what we create together to be our fairy tale.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Yes. Our fairy tale that we create. It don't got to be your story. It don't got to be what works for you. It has to be what works for us. When we have a happiness and a joy and a peace and a communication and understanding and a love and respect
together.
Exactly. That's the fairy tale. Working together as a healed, working together as a person where I see you and you see me. That's the fairy tale, not what everybody's saying. Like, so that's how we're creating our happily ever after, not what the world says happily ever after looks like. You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
So when you recognize it in that way, that's yet another battle that you've overcome.
That's right.
Because you were battling, looking for the fairy tale, and every time you keep going for the same type of man, you keep getting broken the same type of way because you think it's supposed to look like this, and you like, oh, I don't date nerds. Well, my thing is this nerd is he's prayed up, he's you know what I'm saying, he loved up, he healed up, he's everything that you asked for, but you know what I'm saying, you're thinking that's supposed to come in this Prince Charming package, and he is the Prince Charming just for you because he has everything that you're looking for.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? So we got to get past what we see in the natural eye and see it in the spiritual sense.
Right.
We're like, oh my God.
That's right. That's
Lord
right.
Jesus, the blinders are removed.
That's right. Because we can't use natural things to take care of spiritual things.
Say that again.
We can't use natural things to take care of spiritual things.
But we do it anyway.
Girl, all day.
Every day.
Every day. Because we're like, I can only talk for me. I'm like, hey, listen, God knows. You know what I mean? God understands.
Yes.
And God's like, all right, come on, sis, get up. You know what I mean? Like, come on, let's clean this up. You know what I mean? Clean yourself up. Let's go. Do it.
And let's recognize and realize there's a different way to do things.
Oh yeah.
Don't do it your way. And my thing is, and we got to recognize the way that God wants us to do it. He's not doing this to punish us. He's not doing it to keep nothing from us. He's not doing it, you know, the way he has things set up is not to harm us, but it's actually to bless us. It's actually to better us. And it's actually to get us to see it and to have a better understanding of what it's supposed to be. Not that he's taking, God wants us to enjoy life. Yes. He wants us to have laughter. He wants us to have love. He wants us to have peace, but he wants us to have it the right way. He wants us to have it with him first.
Yeah.
You understand? Have it with him first, and then everything else fall into place. Because my thing is, you have it with God first, and you have that thing, then he helps you conquer those things that you've been battling spiritually, and he prepares you and gets you ready for what he wants to set up for you in the natural. But you got to have it with God first. That relationship, that understanding, that love, that healing, that thing where he's doing something, that honesty. Even though God knows everything about you, still be transparent and still tell it all to him.
Oh yeah. Even if you have to write it down, I'm telling you, writing it down. I just found a notebook. I have a ton of notebooks. I love my notebooks. But I just found a notebook from before I purchased my home, so like 5 years ago, and I'm looking through my prayer list. I'm looking through my goal list for like the year. I'm looking, and I'm like, oh God, whether I didn't even realize it, I actually checked off a lot of these goals. You know what I mean? And the ones that aren't checked off are just ones that just aren't ready yet, but they will come. So I'm going to keep writing those because that's the one that's still in my head, is the one that, you know what I mean? And it's the battles prepared me for the next. Then when I got to the next, then another battle ensued, and it prepares me for the next. You know what I mean? And because I realize that I'm in a battle. Then I realized, okay,
I have to realize you were in a battle.
Yeah,
that's the key. You realize it. You recognize it. You admitted it. You admitted it to yourself. You know what I'm saying? You're not ashamed of it. I'm in a battle.
Right. I'm in a battle.
That's the key right there. Yep. And then my thing is, okay, so okay, God, I'm in a battle. What do you want me to learn from this battle? Yeah. What do you want me to do in this battle? How do you want me to handle this battle? Yeah. See, then you take it back to God. Don't say, well, this is how I'm gonna handle it. Because see, when a lot of times when we handle it the wrong way, and it's not how God intended for us to handle it. And we try to quicken the battle when it's not supposed to be quickened.
That's the truth. We do want it to end quicker than it really is. Because there's something we haven't seen yet. It's something that we should see that we have not seen. We keep going. That's that mountain. Like that mountain metaphor, that mountain story in the Bible, whatever, you know what I mean? That story of the Israelites going around the mountain, that is real. We do that everybody does it. We go around the same thing over and over and over and over again until we realize, okay, well, this is what we should have been doing all along. So now let's do this. And then boom, we're there.
Here, when you don't complain about walking around the mountain, right. When you recognize and realize I'm going in circles and I'm tired of the same old scenery, right. That's when you be like, okay, now be like, okay, God, be like, okay, I can put her in a new direction now. Yep. And I can take her a new path. You know what I'm saying? When you can admit that to yourself, I just been going in circles.
Right.
I just keep going around the same old mountain. You know what I'm saying? No. Let's go to a different form. Let's go to a different place. I don't want to do it the same old way anymore.
That's right.
I don't want to keep doing it my way no more because my way don't work. I let me put on my GPS. Let me put on that God. Right. You know what I'm saying? Let God be the guy and not myself. Because my thing is like, oh, I know how to get there. I know how to get there. Right. You don't got to tell me how to get there. I know how to get there. And girl, I even know a shortcut. And he's like, oh my God, are we lost?
Oh, girl, when you said that, that just did something inside of me that was just like, because that's what it is. People offer shortcuts.
Yeah.
How this needs to, how you can, I can get you, let me show you how to get there quicker. Ooh. And we're like, yeah, we can get there quicker. Let's do it. That microwave society. Yeah. And shortcuts sometimes turn into longer routes. Yes, they do, girl. They turn into longer routes. Cause I know me, I'm like, oh, I'm
gonna take the shortcut so you can block out. So I'm gonna beat this light and this light and this light and this light. But next thing you know, your journey was supposed to be like an hour. You just added an extra 25 minutes to the journey because you wanted to take that shortcut that you should have never took. So it's understandable when we get to that place and recognize it. Some shortcuts are not meant to take. Sometimes just take the journey the way it's set out for you, the way it's been mapped out for you, the way God mapped it out for you. Don't try to quicken it. Don't try to hinder it. Don't try to lessen it. Let it be the way God intended for it to be, and just go with that. You turned on a GPS for a reason.
Right. That's trust. Trust is the GPS. Trusting Jesus to keep you. That's the GPS. Trusting Jesus to get you to your destination. That's the GPS.
Right there.
Yeah, that's the GPS. Right, yeah. And releasing, praising there. While you're doing it. Going through, you know what I mean? Worshiping and praising and releasing it. Yeah. Yes. And knowing that nothing can separate you from God. Knowing that God has you and nothing we do is going to separate us from the love of God.
That trust thing becomes something so magnificent.
Yeah.
When you really have a trust for God, you're like, I don't know how it's gonna work out, God, but I trust you. I don't know how I'm gonna get there, God, but I'm gonna trust you because you're my guide. You know what I'm saying? You're my ever-present help. You're everything that I need. So my thing is, I came to you, so now I'm gonna trust you because I can't do it myself. My way doesn't work for me. I can't do it. This is why I always end up going in circles. That's why I keep end up going back to the same mountain because I've been entrusted in myself for too long instead of trusting the God in me and the God that I serve, the God that I call on when things look bad. No, God, I'm gonna call on you right now, and I'm gonna just trust that you're gonna guide me.
Yeah, that's that surrender versus sacrifice because we surrender things that we should be sacrificing. That's why we keep going back to unrighteousness. That's why we keep living unholy because we're not willing to sacrifice. We're not willing to cut things that, listen, I'm there's some things I'm just not willing to cut dead, but I know it's like, okay, Terry, you really like, no.
Cut it.
Yeah, cut it. You know what I mean? And when he tells me that, I'm just like, all right, but
better than you.
What'd you say?
Even when you cut things off, don't look at it as a loss. Look at it as a win. It's the actual win for you. It's a serious win for you. It's a major win for you if you just cut it off. My thing is that, and once you do that, God be like, she trusts me.
Yep.
She finally cut it off. She finally sacrificed that thing. She finally let it go. Yep. She gonna let me be God.
Yeah, she gonna let me be God. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, and that's what it is. And that's what you said. That's the difference between a surrender and a sacrifice. But when you do that thing and you walk in that place, but yet again, that's another spiritual battle.
Yeah.
Another spiritual battle. That how do we conquer that spiritual battle? By surrendering and sacrificing, instead of stop being in control. What causes us to be in control? Pride.
Yeah.
What causes us to try to be in control? We're offense. What causes us, you know what I'm saying, attitude, a mindset of not a lack of understanding. So my thing is these things that we battle with, when you can admit that you're in a spiritual battle and you can admit those things, you know what I'm saying, without any embarrassment, then you surrender and sacrifice. And then God, that's when God can do what he needs to do and what he planned to do from the very beginning in your life.
I like it. I like it. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, don't be afraid, but instead remember the Lord. Remember, the testimony is your life. Your life is the testimony. And remember, the work you are doing is noble. Remember who you are and who you are.
Say that again.
Yeah, remember who you are and whose you are.
Yes, because you know why? We have a spiritual battle and we be in that identity crisis. Oh, that's another spiritual battle, that identity crisis. When you know who you are and whose you are, that's something else you overcome in the battle.
Yeah, that's why you got to protect your mind. Always. That's why you got to protect your mind. That's why you have to wear your armor. You have to make sure you not add prayer, but prayer is part of your armor. Sometimes people say things last so that it's the first thing you hear, the only thing you remember. Yeah.
The craziest thing is, but a lot of people don't look at it like that. They just always, because that's when I hear people preach, they always like, oh, the full armor of God, the full armor of God, and they'll break it down, every part, every piece, what you need to wear, what you need to put on, but they leave out the prayer.
Yeah, or they say it, but they don't touch it.
Yeah, that's it. They say they don't touch it. They just say real quick, pray.
Right.
That's it.
Right. They read the scripture and then they keep going. Yeah. Yeah. They don't realize. Oh, that's good. Ooh. 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 So okay. So we're gonna end it there. Yeah, we're gonna end it there. Yeah, prayer, meditation. Yeah. Because we have such a whitewashed thought of what prayer is and how we're supposed to pray when we don't realize prayer is.
Well, you said that's why the word says it. Something is coming by prayer and praying and fasting. You wouldn't say that if prayer wasn't key.
Yeah. Yeah. Prayer is the key that unlocks the door.
That's it.
Yeah, that's the words I was looking for. Prayer is the key that unlocks the door. Yeah. But who are we praying to? And yeah.
And how are we praying?
And how are we praying?
Are we praying generic?
Yeah. That's why I said whitewash. Yeah.
What did he say? Remember when you talking about people saying, he's like, I don't want you to pray to like how they pray, how the Gentiles pray, where they just keep repeating themselves over and over and over again. No, he wants you to pray with your heart. He wants you to pray with your spirit. He wants you to pray with, you know what I'm saying? With that anointing on you. He wants you to pray with truth.
True. Yeah.
That's how he wants you to pray. He wants you to pray courageously. Yeah. He wants you to pray unashamed. That's how he wants us to pray, naked and unashamed, because that's when like I could do something because he know that you coming from a genuine place with it. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Listen, pray to me the right way. Don't keep praying the way people think you think generic over and over again. Oh God, freedom from what?
Right. So, and that's what I always ask people. I pray, who are you praying to? If you're praying to God, we good. You know what I mean? We good. If God is who you're talking to, if God is your ultimate, if God is the one that you are seeking, his words, you're meditating on his words day and night, then we good. But if you're praying to something else, then I can't. We're not equally yoked. I don't pray to that. You know what I mean? I'm not going to understand that.
What you say? It don't line up with you.
Yeah, it don't line up.
And you won't compromise.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And your walk when you pray into something different.
Right.
So my thing is like, that's why it's so important that when you have that relationship, you explain that and you share that teaching with somebody else. Like you said, who are you praying to? Right. What are you praying to? You know what I mean? Like, listen, I mean, you could pray, like, no disrespect to anybody. You could pray to all different type of statues and idols, but that ain't no life in there.
Right.
So, you know, you got to pray to a God. God is he's the living God. You know what I'm saying? He's that substance. He's that ever essence. He's everything. But he's a how they say a way maker, but he's making moves every day. He's in a movement. And so when you pray to God, now after you pray to him, you gotta trust and wait, and you gotta hear the answer to the prayer.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. And then you can move. Yeah. And the more you do that, the stronger you become. The more consistently you do that, the stronger you become. The more prepared and well dressed you are for battle. The more when it's time to fight spiritually, you're ready. The hits aren't taking you down. You know what I mean? You're taking some blows, but you're not down. You're not stuck in it. You're winning.
Yes.
You're winning.
And that's God on the street. You winning. Even with the blow, you know that with the armor on and that prayer life that you have manifested, that prayer life that has grown and taken you to a whole nother level, that when you open up your mouth, it's like you automatically, you're immediately in God's presence. That right there, that life right there, it'll knock out and outweigh every little punch, every little blow, every little stab that the enemy tries to send your way, or every little seed that tries to be planted, because your prayer life is so strong, it'll automatically rock the things that's trying to rock you. Like I said, we got to slay what's trying to slay us. And you do that in your prayer life.
There you go. Amen.
You've been listening to Fridays with Ty on Shift the Narrative podcast. Listen, I pray one day you'll see the need to shift the narrative in your mind. Not for anyone else, but for yourself. Because you are worth it. I am thankful and grateful for each and every one of you that has joined us today and every day. As always, I'm your host and fellow freedom fighter, Tyria. We will see you again, and thanks for listening to Fridays with Ty on Shift the Narrative podcast. Be free, y'all. Be free.